Hey guys, Watazzi has to admit it again. Watazzi has to admit it again. He was wrong. Hang on. People, in my last video, I said in it, I think one of my last videos anyway, I don't know if it was my last one. I told you in there to go on Google and look up David Brian Grooms, and you couldn't find nothing on me. Well, now I haven't done that in a long time, but before a year ago, you wouldn't have found, you would have had a hard time proving which one of them was me. And I've given you a lot of evidence. I've told you I've lived in many states. I've given a lot of evidence. And I've even named the states, some of them. But I flipped out. I flipped out. I Googled myself. And I want to tell you what I found. And I want to tell you this. First off, this information I found that it was in a newspaper called The Vindicator. That's the name of the newspaper. It's the biggest newspaper in Youngstown. The Vindicator. And I love it. That name just fits it 100%. Especially on me. People, the truth will come out. The truth will come out. Eventually. Now, I just found this just a few minutes ago. That's why I'm doing this video. I went to the Vindicator about the story that was happening down here in Boardman. They wouldn't touch it. No news channel around here would touch it. Not even the TV channels. It wouldn't touch it. Now, the Vindicator, the thing that sucks about it is that what they said, and I'm going to read it here for you. And it was truth. They just left out a lot of facts about that truth in order to make me look bad. They have to do that. But I got to give it to them. I got to give it to the Vindicator. They come the closest to the truth of anybody that wasn't there. Of anybody that, I don't even know what records they went off of, where they got their information. They didn't even hit both charges that I was actually charged with. But, and like I said, it was long after the trial was over, so they had all the information they wanted, or they needed to make more factual points. They just chose not to do it. But it is on Google, folks. My address is right there, no doubt. My age, my name, the date this happened, in March of last year. Wait a minute, not last year, the year before. Wouldn't it? Somewhere around that. Let me go ahead and read it to you. It says March 19th, 6:40 p.m. That's when they came to my house and arrested me, took the gun off of me, and took me to jail. Or not, they didn't even take me to jail, but they arrested me, booked me, and then the arresting officer gave me a ride back to my house in the patrol car. How many times that happened, folks? They arrest you for shit, and then they give you a ride home, too. Anyway, it says March 16th, 6:40 p.m. David B. Grooms, 57 at the time. It says 57 years old, and it gives my address. was arrested on a charge of failure to comply following an incident at Giant Eagle, 1201 Durrell Drive, for a male acting belligerent. Now, a male acting belligerent could be many things. Drunk, high on dope, trying to sneak around, steal something, just yelling at people, that fucking stupid shit. It could be a lot of things, folks. But it wasn't what happened. The officer that chose to bring these charges against me been on the force for 18 years. Never done anything. He was still an officer after 18 years. Never done anything to better his situation. He had been hearing about Watachi running free in the meetings and shit every day for months and months and months, and months that turned into years. And he was trying to figure out a way he could kind of give his name a little boost. One of the things I fought this entire state about is I wasn't wearing a mask. He knew the store I was going in and out of. He got a sign there. He wanted to be the one to mask Watachi running free because he thought it'd make him a hero in front of his police department. 5 days before this night, he harassed me all the way through this store that I had permission from the district manager to be in and had the video to back it. It's on. I've got it on 2 channels right now. That the district manager, I gave him my medical records and shit. Asked him if I could be in the store without a mask on. He said yes. This officer came on to work security at the grocery store. He saw his chance. I came in. He knew I had no mask and I was not putting one on. He harassed me all the way through there trying to demand I put one on or he could arrest me and shit. I told him I didn't care. I told him flat out, I don't even like you. I did my thing. And when I left, I went straight to the police department, filed harassment charges on this guy. 5 days later, I went back in that store. He was working again. I went in and got my shit. I come out. He was standing out in front of the building talking on the phone to somebody as I was walking across to my car. I done filed harassment charges against him. They don't talk about this in this newspaper article. I put my shit in my car, or as I'm walking to my car, he looks at me and gives me this fucking look like he wants to hurt me or something. So I give him the great big old Watachi wave. That was me acting belligerent, according to this article. I kept walking, put my shit in my car. I got in my car, I'm backing out, and as I'm pulling around, he's wanting to come over and give me some more threats and shit. Well, I ain't putting up with it. So he comes walking up one side of my car, talking. I got the windows up. I'm just trying to get away from him. I don't want to even mess with him. He starts holding his hand up, giving me commands to stop. He's a security guard at a grocery store. And at one time, he claimed he was stopping me for a traffic stop. The stories just keep changing, folks. Well, he come up on the left of me. I turn my steering wheel all the way to the right. And I drive out and around him and leave. By the time I get to my house, Mike Manis is sitting outside my house down the street waiting. He knew they knew where, and Nick Newland was on his way because I was called in. I just fled from an officer and shit, armed and dangerous and shit. And so they was bringing Nick and Mike in, see if they could calm things down. Well, I wasn't even upset. But this just goes to show you, folks, they had no intentions of making me look good in any way, shape, or form in this little article they put in online about me. Now, this went online, and anybody can find this. They had no intentions of making me look good in any way, shape, or form. They added nothing about the trial in here, what was proven, disproven, nothing about anything. This basically was the police report, and it was after the trial was over. That's what the Vindicator prints. They just left out a lot of facts. But, folks, I'm looking back through this shit because this town does have me labeled as armed and dangerous, and that can get you killed reaching for just having anything in your hand when it comes to a cop. I'm not afraid of dying. I'm dying anyway. I ain't worried about that, but I don't want something stupid happening. I'm not no threat to anybody that's not threatening my life. And there ain't no cops threatening my life. None. They're threatening my freedom a couple of times, but not my life. I ain't never had a cop threatening my life as of yet. Let's see, there was something else. I ain't gonna make it any longer. This is what I like, though. This is another piece of evidence that's coming out to prove what I said was right from the get-go. I told them this was all about the mask. I told them this was because I flipped him off. People, I flipped off the sheriff around here 100 fucking times. I flipped off every damn cop around here. I used to wave at them like that. I didn't give a shit. I flipped everybody off at one time or another. But there's some cops that just can't handle that shit. But it doesn't make it against the law. So they have these charges like a belligerent or disorderly or some other bullshit charge they come up with because they know, well, it probably won't even stick. But they're still going to arrest you, violate your freaking rights under the qualified immunity, and not worry about it. Well, let me tell you something, folks. These guys are, people have, and I did too, I felt like I lost at the end of the trial because it did end up costing me $600, or it didn't cost me. Somebody stepped up and paid my fines for me, folks. $628 or something like that, $22. Somebody stepped up and paid that for me as soon as they found out I was fined that much. But I got 2 years in jail, but I only had to do probation for a year for what they did. They charged me with. And the prosecutor broke so many laws, it wasn't even funny in the process of trying me. Well, and I told him one time, man, when I walked in, it was where you were supposed to come in and plea bargain with the prosecutor, and they dropped charges and shit. I walked in there, and he was looking at me, and I was looking at him, and he was, I said, well, what's going on? And he goes, I don't know. what's going on with you? And I said, well, I know what this is about, and I don't make deals with the devil. And he looked at me and he goes, what? I said, I don't make deals with the devil. And I stood up and walked the hell out of his office. I've told him that more than once. So there were no deals being made. There was no plea bargaining. I wasn't doing none of that. He even tried to make the judge force a mask on my face. He tried. But the judge didn't go along with it once I said, well, I had my medical records in my vehicle, Your Honor. And he dropped it. But he tried hard. That prosecutor tried hard. He was another one that tried to mask Watachi. Even if they'd have threatened jail, I wouldn't have put a mask on. They would have had to forcefully put the mask on me, and if it killed me, it'd have been their fault. That was the only way it was going to happen. Well, folks, it wasn't long after my trial. The old prosecutor was prosecuting a buddy of his, which he should have recused himself because it was his buddy. Well, he let his buddy off easy. He got caught. No longer a prosecutor around here. Not around here. I don't know if he is anywhere else, but not in this county. Now, the police officer that pressed these false charges against me, he's pretty much a laughingstock. I made fun of him in my videos. His name was Dubas, and I called him Officer Dumbass at first. And then somebody sent me a email telling me they watched him pick his nose and eat his boogers sitting at a stoplight one time. Somebody from in this town. So I attached Booger Muncher. I started calling him Booger Muncher. Well, they still call him Officer Dumbass and Booger Muncher. And he's over 18 now, 19 years now on the force. He don't even leave the police department anymore. He sits in an office and writes stuff up about traffic accidents and shit. He didn't mask Watachi. So people, did I win or did I lose? It took me a while to understand it. What do you think? Guys, I love you. God loves you too. Please, if you haven't found Jesus' path, at least seek it. That's the only way you're going to make it to that narrow gate, that straight gate. You'll never find it without Jesus' path. Till the next one, we'll see you then.